Hello and welcome to Podcast vs. Player. I'm Cal and I'm joined by Austin from Romans I XVI Gaming, the creator and developer of Tiles. Hello Austin.
Hi.
Hello, thank you for joining me. Firstly, quite an obvious question, but what was the inspiration for Tiles?
I don't know how deep of a story you want.
The Bible.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I've mentioned this before with you, but I previously made games for the Roku. Mm-hmm. I actually released like 3 other games on the Roku. And so this game was originally designed for and actually released in a lesser state than what it's become now for the Roku. The challenge with the Roku is that you can really only use the D-pad for gameplay.
Right.
And so you have to kind of design around that constraint. So, I mean, I guess that would be the first thing that popped in my head is I need a game that's just up, down, left, right. And then I just kind of imagined moving along all over a grid that follows as you step on the platforms. Went from there, basically. Just kind of happened on its own after that.
Obviously, at a glance, Tiles is a very simplistic, aesthetically at least, looking game. But it is incredibly deep and not a story, but there's a lot of deep gameplay mechanics that you wouldn't necessarily expect from the look of the game. And I know from obviously playing it, there was plenty of times where I would generally have to stop and just go, I don't know how to do this. And it's just continual trial and error. And I think for me personally, that's what kept drawing me back in. And it's a constant feel of I'm not stopping this until I've done this level. And
sure.
And
you were talking about the mechanics, and I was going to say that, like, that's the part that I really enjoy. You know, different people are into different aspects of game development because there's so much that goes into it. You know, some people are more artists or people are into stories. I really enjoy coming up with game mechanics. That's, you know, my thing. And I'm, you know, like you said, the art's basic and that's my level of art essentially, but I make sure the game fits with what I'm capable of doing. And I think it works all right.
I think it's a good trade-off though, because there's so many games where you go, that looks phenomenal, and then you play it and you go, this is shit.
Yeah, it needs to be fun.
Yeah,
it's important.
I think a lot of people, this isn't a stab at anybody, but I think a lot of people focus way too much on how games look rather than how they play.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just that, like, having something visually look better is something easier to accomplish. Not that it's easy, it's extremely expensive tasks and stuff like that, but like I've played games that they're big production games that they feel like you're just kind of in a movie and occasionally you push buttons, sort of.
Yeah.
Like, that's not that exciting.
I mean, there's as long as if it's a game like that and there's a good story behind it and you can get involved on a personal level, then that's fine. But like you say, if it's just every now and then I need to press a button, then I could do that. You could do that watching a movie. You press a button to play it, you press a button to stop it.
Yeah, it's true.
It is described, Tiles, that is described as a puzzle game. As we have spoken outside of this mini interview, I personally thought there was a platforming element to it. But is that something you intended, or would you rather it shy away from that?
Well, no, I'd be plenty happy with calling it a platformer. I didn't list it as that because I didn't know if I could call it that. I didn't know if it's something like that would be considered that, you know? I don't know what technically falls under being a platformer, but there's definitely the two halves of the game that some levels are really heavy on the puzzle side where it's something complicated to figure out, whereas other levels are just all about the mechanics of how you're moving. Your skill of timing your movements or moving fast enough, which that's not puzzle at all. That's just your gameplay skill.
Yeah, that's what I mean with the platforming element, and it's like the first few levels. It's very obviously to make it easier to get into the game, and then as soon as it started bringing those kind of mechanics into it, that's when it reminded me a lot of Super Meat Boy, and it's very similar in the fact that there's no. I don't know the best way to say it. Like a game like Mario, say, which is obviously a platforming game, you can mess up a jump, and you could probably correct yourself enough to carry on through the game. Whereas stuff like Tiles and Super Meat Boy, you make a mistake, you start again.
Yeah,
and I really like that.
It's like, it's difficult. Like, if there was any reset time or anything like that, it would be annoying. It's same with Super Meat Boy, where you die so often that it just needs to instantly reset.
Yeah.
But because it instantly resets, you just want to immediately keep trying, and you just keep going at it until you eventually get it.
Yeah, I think that was a very smart move. It's just instant, straight back into the game, carry on, and I think that's a very good thing. Do you still have trouble with any of the levels?
Do I have trouble?
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh no, that's not. That's not what I wanted to hear.
Shortly after I released it, I was getting some people playing, and this is slightly before I released it. I was kind of having a little competition. I just said the first person that can speedrun the game, I give them $50. That was the prize. Oh. Somebody did eventually do it. Only one person, but it took a little while, and I'm not like, people weren't quite sure, like, is this even possible to beat this level? So I said, okay, I'm going to speedrun the game. And so I did that, but it certainly wasn't a speedrun. It took me like an hour and a half. I got stuck on one level for a long time.
Wow.
So
that makes
I don't
me feel
remember how
better.
I did it.
I'm not even joking. I think it was, I think it might have possibly been the 5th level, and I was stuck for a good 20-25 minutes.
Really?
So the fact that you still get stuck, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, the last page of levels, I don't know how far you've gotten, but it really ramps up for the last page.
Yeah, it definitely gets a lot harder. Like, I literally thought that level I got stuck on, once I finally beat it, I was like, I've got it now, it's fine. And then literally, say like 11 or 12 levels later, I was like, yeah, I need to stop.
Yeah. It's not even necessarily a game that's like critical for you to beat. I don't know how to say that right, but like Super Meat Boy is super challenging, and majority of people probably haven't beat it all, but that didn't mean they didn't enjoy it. So yeah, it's meant to be a challenge. It's meant to be something that could possibly take you a while to actually complete all the levels.
See, it strikes me as, in, obviously, once this goes up, obviously it'll go up with the review, but the motivation that draws you in is, it's incredibly punishing, but when you do finally beat a level, you instantly feel very much rewarded, and not in a sense of, Austin's not going to send you money for every level that you complete, but...
Yeah, I was happy that I could make the gameplay, like I said, I focus on gameplay itself. I was happy that I could make the pure gameplay feel rewarding. Like, there are achievements, and I guess when you beat a level, it plays a little sound. But other than that, you don't really get any artificial reward for you beat the level. But it just feels good because of what you accomplished.
Yeah, you genuinely feel like you've accomplished something incredibly great and powerful. It's like slaying a dragon. But I won't I won't go on for too long. But as I asked in the questions before this, if you could describe Tiles to someone who hasn't played it, how would you describe it? And I know you didn't like this question last time, but I want an answer.
I don't, like I said, my main thing is just trying to get them to play it.
Yeah.
I end up not, like, anytime I've tried to do that in a conversation, like, if I try to explain the details, it's just like, well, you move around on these tiles and they fall away, and you have to get all the blue ones, but you don't have to get all the other ones, and you have to finish on the... It sounds more complicated than it is, and it doesn't sound, like, exciting at all. And so I don't go into details for sure. I just end up being vague and like, well, it's puzzles, but it's also about timing and being fast. That's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't have anything. I really don't have anything much better than that. My main thing is just getting it into the hands of people to play it.
Well, I struggled with the question myself, and my co-presenter Dan was asking what I thought of it, and I was trying to explain it to him, and he was like, "Doesn't really sound like my kind of game," and I was like, "But it really is," and he came to the computer and played it, and he was like, "This is nothing like how you described it." It's like, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, it's actually one of the challenges with trying to get people to play the game or buy the game is like, it's not what you would expect on surface level.
No.
It doesn't matter if you see the trailer or anything like that. You can't feel it until you actually play it. Like, so that is one of the challenges, especially because it looks so much like a puzzle game. Like, it looks like I've seen a million of these. It's just, you figure out the puzzles, that's it. It doesn't play like that, though.
It is a very good game, and thank you for sitting and grueling through these incredibly challenging questions. Tiles is available on Steam now. There will be a link in the article and on the video on YouTube. Thank you for joining me, Austin.
Sure thing.
Do you have anything you would like to say to the millions of people of the interweb?
Oh, millions.
Probably not millions.
That's pretty good. Other than just like, I do have future plans. I'm working on the Xbox version right now.
Oh, excellent.
And then the PS4, I'm pretty sure is 100% gonna happen.
Brilliant.
And along with that, the level editor, something I'm trying to do, which I hope works out, just as long as there's no weird rules with the consoles, is that the user-created levels will be completely cross-platform. So if you make a level on the Xbox, you can play it on the PC and vice versa. So that's basically what I have in the works. I guess that would be the last thing I want to say.
That's well, I didn't even know that, so thank you for that.
Sure thing.
And thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching and for reading the review. If you'd like to see anything else, you can go to www.podcastversusplayer.com or .co.uk. You can go to YouTube, which is youtube.com/podcastversusplayer, and you can go to Twitter, which is @podcastvplayer. Thank you, Austin. Would you like to say goodbye?
See you.
Bye-bye.